So today we are going to the 7th lesson. 6 we completed. So how Supreme Being incarnates? Because he has no body. He is not taking the birth by any human being. So he come in the body of someone directly. So there are some questions somebody may feel that how it is possible. Even when we come to the contact, we also have so many questions regarding this. So what we have been advised that okay, you believe something or if you don't believe, you can go to the Madhuban, that is headquarter, and you can watch or observe with yourself. And I have gone particularly in Madhuban. There was some restriction were there that you have to follow 1 year, you can say, listen the Murlis, that is what their class is. So I gone through because I was very much, you can say, excited to meet him. After 1 year I gone, so what I did, what they also told me, that you observe what is happening before he comes. So in whose body he was coming, I observed her for the 3 days. And I find out how she walks, how she talks, how she behaves. And when I gone there and I observed with myself what is happening after that. They told me that first jerk will come and the soul will be, you can say, in a very, very silent way. And eyes will be closed. And then when he enters, eyes will be opened. And that you can say you take the first vision and you realize what is happening surrounding. And you listen what he says and then you decide with yourself. So when I met him personally in the body of Dadi Guljar, that one sister is there, they are called Dadi. Dadi means elder sister, Didi or Dadi. So I observed her for 3 days when I gone there and I observed what is happening. And then he came, the Supreme Soul came and he given a Murli for about 6 pages. We call it a Murli, what we told yesterday. And I listened, I noted everything. Still, it was very good words, but I was not sure because I was intellectual, so I was thinking how it is possible. Everybody has certainly have many questions regarding this, how he incarnates. So when he made, you can say, essence of the whole, he told in 6 pages in 3 lines. Then I realized, oh, it is some supreme power is there. And he came around 7 o'clock in the evening. And he left about early in the morning around 6, 7 o'clock. 12 hours he was sitting in the same body, no break, nothing was there in between. And he was continuously speaking, and that is also pure positive thoughts. Meeting with the different groups, meeting individually, meeting the Prasad by himself in those days. And giving the experience through vision, drashti, and with the vibration whatever we are getting around us. So it is not a question just you believe, but what he says, you cannot go directly there because it is a corona. Nobody can go now. So naturally there are so many videos are there which I shown in the last session. You can refer the videos, you can see how it is happening, how it is coming, what he is speaking, etc., etc. And then try to experiment 1 or 2 months in your life. That is very important. Whatever he is telling, if we are not experiencing or experimenting in our life, he says it is of no use then. Because dharma means dharana, means put in practice, nothing else. There is no or any other meaning of the religion. Religio, word religion came from religio. Religio means way of life, nothing else. So practices are different, but everybody believe in the same thing, soul and supreme soul. Name may be different, practices may be different, language may be different, but address is the same thing, concern is the same thing, that he is coming somewhere in this world, teaching us and transforming our life. That is called dharana. So how he comes in one of the body, that we are going to deal today. So the name of that body was Dada Lekharaj. So we take some history of him. He is not a god. we again clarifying, he is not a god, he is the chariot of the god. He also made, you can say, efforts for 33 years. What he is saying to make his life what he want. So, but in which chariot he came, his body name was Dada Lekharaj. He was born in 1876 in Sindh, Hyderabad, now in Pakistan. In those days, 1876, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, everything was the same. He was from Kriplani family, Vallabhachari. He was a great devotee of Vishnu. His father was headmaster. It means he is from a very common family, just like we are. He is not a very renowned in those when he was born, just like us. But Dada from wheat merchant to renowned jeweler of diamond. Dada means elder brother, nothing else. So he started his career as a wheat merchant. So what happened? At his birth, his father was a headmaster, so he was studying in school. He lost his parents in childhood when he was studying. So what he did, Sindhis, generally they are tradesmen, you can say businessmen. Sindhis, Gujaratis, Punjabis, these people have certain characteristic. Majority of them are, you can say, businessmen. And the condition of the Sindh Hyderabad in those days were all the young people, they were going different parts of the world and India to do the business. And their family was living there, where in that particular area, that is Sindh Hyderabad. And the young guys from 16, 17 to 60 years of old, they all go for different businesses in different parts of the world. Their family will stay there, they will go there within a year, once or twice, they will take a vacation of 15 days to a month or 2 months, and they come back to their home, they stay there, and again they will go back to their business. That was the, you can say, condition in those days. So this is the days of around, you can say, when he was 17, 18 years old, means about 1895, about 125 years before. So majority of, you can say, young men were not in that area, that town. Now it is a big city, in those was a town. But all Sindhis were living there. So majority of people who are there in the Sindh Hyderabad is majority sisters and mothers, children and elder people, that is old people who are retired. Very few people who are young living there. Majority they are outside for doing the business. That was the system prevailing in those days. From childhood he was a devotee of Narayan. But he was a very, very, you can say, good thinker, logical person. So he don't like many things. He given one example. He's taken the picture of Vishnu and there Lakshmi ji was massaging the feet of the Vishnu. He don't like. So he called a painter and told him that, okay, relieve this Lakshmi ji from this massaging job, because anybody can do the massaging. Not necessary that his partner, life partner can do this thing. So he is a great respect for mothers and sisters from childhood itself. Yeah, after, you can say, when his parents passed away, he joined the business of her elder brother, that he was doing a wheat merchant, or you can say a grain merchant in that area. And majority people who are from Sindh Hyderabad, young guys, they were out for the business. So everybody was supporting each other. As for example, somebody coming from our back home, here in Canada, so we'll support naturally. In the same way, anybody young guys who wanted to go outside for business, there are majority of the people were in different parts of the country and world, so they will take them with them, they will train and they will guide them how to do business. So one of his, you can say, neighbors and relatives who was doing a business of the diamond and jewelries and gold in Mumbai, he came to Sindh Hyderabad for the vacation. So Dada told him, can I join with you? He told, okay. So he joined as a servant in the shop. As usual, we are starting our career. So he was very young guy, 17, 18 years old, and he gone to Bombay with one of his, you can say, neighbors and relatives, family members. When he gone, his, you can say, intention was that he was very much devotee of Narayan, so he wanted to be a saint or sadhu. He don't want to be a sansari. So he is writing in his, you can say, life story, which I think I have posted to you, First Human Being Adi Dev in English. Hindi also there are two parts, three parts are there, but we have two parts. So that story how he become a medium of the Supreme Almighty Authority. He was just like us, nothing else, no difference at all. He was not a, any guru except the devotees. That's it. But he was a very, logical mind. So when he is not satisfied with one guru, he will make the other guru. So slowly and gradually, he made 12 gurus. And when he gone to Bombay, some other person has written his life story, but he told that when I went, his, intention was to earn some money in those 100 rupees, because rupees were even, higher, very valued in terms of, value, even higher than pound. Even if we say the exchange rate of rupees and with the pound and dollar, we were in surplus when we were independent in 1947. India has a lots of money in those days. Last time we seen that European people, they have looted India too much by different laws and this thing and that thing, and system we continued and we looted even more to India. They were outsider foreigners. We are from that own country, and people are looting like anything. What we are seeing, what is happening in Bharat, India. So he was thinking that I will earn 100 rupees. I will put in the deposit, give some money to the others, because Sindhis, they are businessmen, traders. So they know how to earn the money by giving the money to somebody else. So I was thinking that I will put that money in deposit with somebody and I will get the interest, and interest it is sufficient so that after being a sadhu, I don't want to ask anybody for the help, because he was a very logical person. So he don't want to beg from anybody. He wanted to do devotion, but without asking anybody any help. But he says in his life story that when I gone to Bombay, I seen one movie. And the name of the movie of Rup Sundari. In those days, before 125 years, at that time there was no voice or noise in the movie. Only movie means movie. That's it. So he said, I seen that movie, and there was a change in my mind. And instead of sannyasi, I was married in my community. He indicates what is the effect about this MP4, what we are seeing in our day-to-day life. It affects a lot. Godfathers many times says in the Murli, in the classes, that cinema means it is a mother of sin. If we go backside, back in the history before 100 years only, the society was good. Society was, have all code of conducts. All we learned, majority of things are from all these social medias and movies. We lost our cultures and value of human being after coming in more and more different kind of situations on the, TV or internet or social medias. And we see the condition of the world is worsening day by day. So in short, he joined as a, employee in the business of his relative, and he is a very good power to decide between right and wrong thing, that is true diamond and imitate diamond. He was a very good, discerning power or discriminating power. So he was promoted with his, owner, because owner, everybody was Sindhi in the shop. So he became a manager, then he became a partner in the firm. He requested his owner that can I open a one showroom or more showroom, is because they are all from same family, Sindhi family. So it's his owner told that, okay, you can go and continue, I will support you, no problem at all. And he opened his first showroom in Calcutta, because in those days Bharat was governed by the Britishers, and they have the main port was the Calcutta, not Mumbai even in those days. He says Mumbai was like a small town in those days, not developed what we are seeing Mumbai right now. Calcutta was quite bigger, quite you can say more connected with the world. Before that, Surat was the quite bigger and more connected with the world. But after European came, they developed Calcutta as a port more. Of course, they first came East India Company in Gujarat only, that western shore only. In those days, Surat was the, you can say, busiest port. And then slowly and gradually, Calcutta came into existence. So he opened his first office in Calcutta, then Mumbai, then Hyderabad. Slowly and gradually, he proceeded. He has, you can say, 2 sons and 2 daughters. Slowly his age was increasing. He was earning now very good money, lot of money from the business. Because the customers what he has, they were kings and queens, or you can say European people who are ruling on those days on India. His business was prospered too much, but he was basically a very strong devotee, so he was a great donor in his society too. He was running a Sadavrat, means giving the free foods to the people in Hyderabad with his uncle. And he promised to his uncle that I will continue when you leave the body, this Sadavrat always. He was a great donor, but he don't want to expose his name. So secret donation, he always believe Gupta Dan Mahadan. So he don't want to expose to any media or anybody. But he was a great donor in his society as well as where he has showrooms. He has always habit that any incidents, either social or business or any incidents, he will call one guru and transform that, you can say, any meetings or any kind of gathering into satsang. He always like to have presence of supreme power, supreme authority, God. He always believe in that. So strong in, you can say, devotion that he was not eating or you can say even drinking a water without reading Gita. That much strong devotee he was. So slowly he proceeded toward the age of 60, that is age of retirement. He was thinking to retire, that he has a lot of money, so now he don't have to worry much now, but he has a, you can say, greed too. Let us earn more money, just like what we have also been always earning more and more money we are accumulating. So same kind of person he was. So he was continuing his business at the age of around 60. He was going on. One day in Mumbai, he has a big, you can say, showroom as well as his bungalow was there. And he called a guru in one of the meeting and conducting a satsang at his bungalow. After, you can say, satsang, he gone to his room by making all facilities for his guru in his own bungalow to his room, and he had a vision of Vishnu. And he was very much pleased that you can say he was very much gratifying to his guru that guru might have given a vision. So he was, you can say, very much pleased with the vision of Vishnu. But what Vishnu told during the vision, that tatatvam, who am I? You are just like me. But he was a great thinker and logical person. So he thinking, how I can be a Vishnu? I am his devotee. He is my God. I cannot be a God. Ne? He is my devotee. How it is possible? He is my God. So he gone to the Guru immediately. And he asked the Guru first thing that, okay, thank you so much for giving me, you can say, vision. Guru was very honest. He told, nobody can give anybody vision. Only supreme authority can give the vision of any kind. So he was very logical person. So he also understood, oh, he liked it. Good, that is a very good thing. And then he asked another question that Vishnu told me tatatvam, how it is possible. Then Guru told, he has given a vision, so he will clarify more. Only what he can advise, he advised him that better you go for devotion continuously for about 20 to 30 days, at least a month, so that he will tell you what he wanted to tell you through this vision. And he also liked that idea. Next day morning, when he woke up, he put a telegram to his partner who was managing everything from Calcutta, admin and finance. He was doing all outside job, marketing job. That okay, I am going for the 1 month, you can say, vacation for devotion, nothing else, at Kashi. And he has a good friend in Kashi who has a good bungalow at the bank of the river Ganga. So he asked him and he told that, okay, you can come down, no problem at all. He gone there and he started deep devotion in Kashi. Going to the, you can say, Ganga for, you can say, bathing in Ganges and then come back. Whole day he was reading chapter 1 to 6 from Gita, where there is a much thinking about soul consciousness. And he was writing, I am a soul. His wife name was Jashoda. Jashoda is a soul. His son, who was not married, only one son, not married, 3 were married, two daughters and one son married. So one son, he loved him too much, younger son, so he was writing Narayan, he is a soul. His daughter-in-law was Radhe, Radhe is a soul. So writing down soul, 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 practice. 1 to 6 lesson he was reading again and again, and he was going deep and deep to experience himself as a soul. He was not knowing anything about soul or Supreme Soul, no knowledge at all, simply based on Gita. So after 20 days, he got 3 visions. What vision was? What we seen in the pictures. First vision was the transformation of this world. That in 1935, he got all 3 visions. So what was the vision approximately at the age of 59 years of old almost so he saw that there will be a big transformation and he can see the Western world destructed by the atom bomb, hydrogen bomb and missiles. Nobody was knowing about the atom bomb in 1935. World came to know in 1945 when America has put 2 baby bombs on Japan. That was a baby bomb. Now you can say India and Pakistan, they have too many bombs. Even they can destroy the whole world. They will destroy by themselves. They can destroy the whole world. That much, you can say, atomic power the other countries, all countries have. Forget about the superpowers like America and Russia. So he got a vision of destruction and he was seeing that there were, you can say, heaps of corpus of human being and nobody has to do the funeral even. So by doing this, by seeing this much of, you can say, destruction in vision, he was crying, oh God, I cannot see more now. And immediately, when he came in the body consciousness, immediately came out the vision. So he was thinking, now what to do? Now he is showing something to me which is very dangerous than for whom I am doing all this business and everything. So slowly and gradually, he was getting renunciation from this world now. He was thinking, why I am doing this business? I am already at the age of, on the verge of retirement. So he was thinking that what to do now. Meanwhile, he got the another vision. He was not knowing anything about Paramdham even Supreme Abode. He got the vision of Supreme Abode where souls are there. And he was doing a, you can say, practice of soul. So you get a very good peace, bliss, and you can say power from there. And he experienced somewhat light now. Because Supreme Abode is a place which is full of power, peace, and purity. But he was not knowing this is Supreme Abode. Simply he got the vision and he got the experience. So his mind calmed down because he was very much, you can say, upset with the scene of destructions. Now he was seeing the same, you can say, scene in the vision. Now he see third vision that okay, out of that soul, one soul came down to the earth and become a prince. Another came down and become a princess. Slowly and gradually he saw the vision of heaven where, you can say, palaces of gold studded with diamonds he was able to see in the vision. He was saying that All deities have their own, you can say, Pushpak Viman, that is planes. All are playing the ras. And so much beautiful world he was seeing, that is called heaven, paradise, Bahist, Swarg. And he was lost in the vision. Meanwhile, he heard one, you can say, voice and noise that such a world should be made by you. And he was immediately, he was a great thinker and logical person. He told, how can I make the world? And immediately he came out of the vision. Vision has been lost. Suppose we come in body consciousness, naturally, vision will be lost. So he was thinking now what to do. But he remembered his guru's word that he will show the way. So now he decided to wind up everything. He has lot of money. He has not to worry about anything for the future. Now he is decided. So next day morning, he put a telegram to his partner that, okay, I am coming to Calcutta. Call the lawyer. I wanted to retire and I wanted to do devotion now because I am already around 60 years old. He gone to the, you can say, Calcutta, signed the paper. Meanwhile, he got the telegram from his, you can say, uncle that he is very serious, ill, sick. And he has also a vision how his uncle Mulchand left the body. He can see the vision of the soul leaving the body. Now he gone back to his hometown, that is Sindh Hyderabad. What he was doing now is a lot of money. So simply he was started a satsang at his home. So he was asking some gurus to come out of 12. They will come, they will read the Gita. If nobody is there, he will read the Gita. And slowly he started satsang. In the company of God, you can say, what he was doing in the beginning, he will, you can say, make a sound of Om. And then after some time, 15-20 times, the satsang will start. So one day Guru came and he was sitting in the satsang. Meanwhile, he finds some uneasiness. So he went to some room, one of the room of, you can say, many rooms in his bungalow. He has 3 bungalows in Sindh Hyderabad, 2 cars, 1 minibus. Cars in those days were running with the handle. Means you have to start with handle, no battery in those days. So that much property in those days he was having. He's good, rich person now. So he gone to other room, one of the room of his bungalow, and sitting there in the room, and his wife, that is Jashoda Mata, and his daughter-in-law, that is Radhe, they were thinking where Dada has gone. After 10-15 minutes, he didn't come back. And if somebody is leaving a satsang of the Guru, it is considered as a disrespect to the Guru. So they both gone to the different, you can say, rooms of the bungalow to find out where Dada is. And they both met at place and found that Dada is sitting in one of the rooms. So Mata Jashoda told to his daughter-in-law, okay, Radhe, you do one thing, you take the Dada with you, and I am going to the satsang, so nobody will feel that all family members are out of the satsang, main family member. So now Radhe, his daughter-in-law, she entered in the room where Dada was sitting. What she saw? When she entered in the room, she felt that something is happening inside that body of Dada. Dada was sitting just in middle of the room, and she just sitting on the near the door of the room. She can see that Dada is sitting, you can say, with closed eyes, and she was you can say, one kind of vision that something is happening in Dada's body, and some red light is coming out. And he also felt the peace and power from that thing. Dada's eyes were closed. And after a few minutes only, he heard 3 words. That was Nijananda Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham, Jnana Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham, Prakash Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham. Dada's eyes is closed. Simply, his mouth is speaking. After some time, 2 to 3 minutes, when Dada came down and opened his eyes, he sees that just in front of him, his daughter-in-law is sitting. So he asked his daughter-in-law, Beta Radhe, what did you see? And Radhe told these 3 words. Then he somewhat realized that some soul of Shiva is wanted to do something through my body. And journey slowly started. Now he realized that who was giving him vision. And what is his plans, he don't know. So now, he being a devotee, he was totally surrendered to, you can say, Supreme. He was thinking that he got the good visions. Now he was thinking whatever he will guide me, I will do accordingly. So he started satsang, and when he was sitting for the satsang reading the Gita, immediately that soul, supreme soul, will enter in his body after, you can say, pronunciation of Om, and people were getting the, you can say, visions in whatever they believe. If somebody will believe in Krishna, he will get a vision of Krishna. If somebody will believe in Radhe, then he will get a vision of Radhe. Whomever they believe, either somebody will believe in only light, then he can have a vision on the light. So now in Saint Hyderabad, there was, you can say, everybody was saying, if you wanted to have a vision, go to Dada's satsang. So his strength of the satsang increased almost, you can say, 300 people. Initially it was 70-80 people. And Dada has a practice that anybody comes to the satsang, they will listen, you can say, knowledge, and they will be given a food there also. And majority were mothers and sisters, because majority mothers and sisters were living in Saint Hyderabad. Now what happened? Another, this girl particularly, his name was also Radha, but not Dada's daughter-in-law. Her father and mother, they were doing business in Bombay, and her father was a big insurance broker. They were Sindhi, and they have a lot of loss in the business. So her father lost his body and he became a totally bankrupt. And so her mother became a widow. And in those days, widow in Hinduism and Sindhi family, that she can't wear, you can say, good clothes, only black clothes. She can't talk to anybody much more. So many restrictions for widows in Hindu family and Sindhi family. And now they don't have anything. And she was studying in convent school in those days. She was very good at singing, very good at dancing, and very good at playing, you can say, guitar and everything, sitar. So now they have no choice for her mother and for her to go somewhere. And her mother, you can say, maternal uncle were living in Sindh Hyderabad. So they moved to Sindh Hyderabad, and her mother also moved there. Now her mother was very, very always remaining in sorrow. So somebody told, you go to Dada's satsang. You will get a peace there, and maybe vision also. They were devotees of Krishna. So when they gone to the satsang, her mother got the vision of Krishna, and she got peace from that in the satsang. When she came back, her daughter saw this thing, that there is a lot of change in my mother. So she was asking, what did you do? Where did you go? And she narrated where she went and found. So she also told, I will come from tomorrow. And she also gone tomorrow, and she were all devotees of Krishna. She also got the vision. Now they will become regular. They will become regular in the satsang. About 300 people were there. Now Shiva directed through Brahma, that is, through Dada, that you surrender everything and make one registered mandali, name as a Om mandali, because they were, you can say, starting with the Om Dhwani, Om sound. So Dada registered one mandali, and he put a will that I, Dada Lekharaj, I am surrendering all my property to this mandali, which is made, you can say, made of about 300 people, and the management of the mandali will be by 4 mothers and 4, you can say, Kumaris, and head will be this Kumar. And slowly they registered a mandali, and after saying that, the other 4 families from their whole, you can say, community, they have also given everything to the mandali, and there have 300 people in the Om mandali. Now Godfather through Brahma, he started to train these sisters and Kumaris. And what we are saying now in Brahma Kumaris, who are, you can say, as for example, now chief administrative head of Brahma Kumaris is Dadi Hriday Mohani or Dadi Guljar. At that time, she was age of only 9 years because whole family was surrendered. So now, Supreme has started his work through Dada. Now he started training these people, and first thing was that those who are below 18 years of age, they should take a permission from their caretaker. That okay, we are allowing brothers, sisters, so and so to listen the satsang. And in those days, Dada also, you can say, declared in the Times magazine that Om Mandli is the richest in the world. Yes, exchange rate of rupees was very high in those days, and they have a lot of money. Money to the extent that 300 people were there, and 100 after 1 year they added by giving different kind of vision and this thing. 400 people from 1936 to 1950, 14 years. They had taken all very good treatment and very good sustenance from Supreme Godfather through Dada. And in those days also, everybody's name was changed by the Supreme Authority. Dada was given a name of Brahma, and this, you can say, Radhe Om Radhe was giving a name of the Jagdamba. Everybody's name will change, just like somebody is surrendering to be and becoming a sadhu, or you can say in any other religion, any kind of the, you can say, leader in the religion, then their name has been changed. It is a system coming from so many years, started by the Supreme Authority, Supreme Almighty Authority. So now they have a mandli. What kind of mandli they have? So they started 2 hostels. One was 9 to 13 years of children, another 13 to, you can say, 16, 17 years of children. And this is the whole schedule. And he started to train all these sisters and mothers so that they can, you can say, manage the whole institution in the future. So 1936 they started this thing. When they started in their society, in their community, this was the spiritual army in uniform. In those days, around 35, 36. And Supreme told everything how to, you can say, think, what to think, how to speak, how to behave in the society. They were given worldly knowledge also in those days, English medium, because there was, you can say, ruling by the European people. So they were given all kind of training, worldly training as well as, you can say, spiritual training by Supreme Godfather, that is Supreme Soul. But nobody can see the Supreme Soul because the soul was functioning through Dada. So everybody was seeing to Dada. Those who have vision, they can recognize that Dada is not working. Through him, somebody else working. But those who don't have vision or who don't believe, they cannot recognize him. They were thinking that Dada is doing everything. Actually, Dada was not doing, only he was an instrument of him. And he was training everybody. He has a planning for the future. He never tells anything in advance. He always say anything can happen at any time and you should be ever ready. He says, suppose I am saying to you children, because you are my direct children, doesn't mean that others are not my children. They are also my children. All world souls are his children. So he always tells that I will not let you know anything even a 1 minute in advance. So he never tells, even today he never tells in advance. Whatever situation comes, we have to face it. So now he started his functioning through Om only, through the body of Dada. And so many sisters have a part of the trance messengers where they were having a vision in the trance messengers, means they will go to the subtle region and they have different visions and they come back. So slowly and gradually they started Om only. Now what is happened? When Dada taught these sisters, means here Supreme Soul taught these sisters about, you can say, good, you can say, pure food and different code of conduct, immediately the opposition started from their society. Because Hindus were all over the world doing business in different cities. So they were, you can say meeting, eating and everything. They were doing outside, drinking and everything. So their Mukhi was there of the Sindh Hyderabad. He met Dada and he told that you are giving a very good training and very good visions and everything to the Mandli and to the people. That is very good service. But you don't tell the people that you don't do this thing and that thing. Dada told, see, I am not doing anything. I am simply instrument. Whatever he is saying, I am following. So how can I deny or how can I say different things to these children? So now Dada, because Dada was a big donor in that society, so everybody has a great name, fame and respect for him. But when Dada told this thing, they don't like and they form a anti-Om only. And this scene, this picture is, you can say when they are doing a, you can say dharna, or they are doing a, at that time Mahatma Gandhi was the 35, 36 and he was doing everything against the European people. That is, you can say dharna and this thing and that thing. So many things Gandhiji has taught to us. So these people are doing a picketing. They are not allowing the children to go in Dada's bungalow. So many things happened. They haven't put so many allegations on Dada that he is doing like this, and they dragged Dada to the court also. But what was the plan of, you can say, him? Godfather has taken in advance everybody's permission from their home. That it is not, you can say, he has taken anybody by force. So for 1 year, there was a big upheaval in his community and society about this thing. After 1 year, they have lose everything because there was direct support of the Supreme Being. Now, after 1 year, Supreme Being ordered that it is a small place in Hyderabad, so they should move to the Karachi. And they moved Karachi and they have taken 5 bungalows. And from 1935-36 to 1950, they were trained spiritually, physically, means all the sisters and you can say mothers, they were taught, they were, you can say, trained for sewing and this thing and that thing, everything. And there were 18 departments in those days because 400 people living together, laundry separate, kitchen separate, blah, blah, blah. Today even, Brahma Kumaris follow the same thing. All departments are there, engineering separate, all. So, for 14 years, Supreme Being given a training to be a soul conscious, nothing else. By one way or another way. Sisters and mothers, they were advised to write down, I am a Shiv Shakti. I am not a common soul. I am of the child of Shiv, Supreme Godfather Shiva, Shiv Shakti. So they have been given a very good self-respect points every day. And there was a special training, and for 14 years everybody has taken a training who are now the, you can say, main administrators of the Brahma Kumaris. Or Dadas and Dadi, who are all 90 plus because this Om Mandli was established in 1935. So 35 to, you can say, almost 2020. So 85 years already completed. So all Dadas and Dadis, they are 90 plus all. So at 14 years they got the, you can say, training. Now what happened in 1947, there was a partition of Bharat and Pakistan, India and Pakistan. There was a big bloodshed. And since this, they run out of Pakistan and gone to India. And they were not allowed to take anything. So many things happened, and we can see everything on the internet now, it is available. So we are not going in detail, but in short, all Sindhis, majority of Sindhis, they run away to India, different parts of India and the world, because they have business there. And within 1 year, 2 years, they established themselves because they were good businessmen in their community. So now they were calling all these guys who were in the Om only, that okay, you should come down to India. It is not safe as per their views. But there was no, you can say, direction from the Supreme. So they continued up to 50 there. In 50, he directed, Supreme directed, we should move to India now. Up to 3 years, they have no problem at all because they were not having any kind of temple, any kind of thing, only Shiva Baba's pictures. And they were telling that you tell as a Khuda or Allah, we tell as a, you can say Shiva, nothing else. So they also believe in form of, you can say, light. These people also believe in form of light. So they were telling, government people were telling, this is Allah log. Means people of Khuda, Allah, nothing else. And Dada is a very good impression everywhere because he was the example for everybody. He was following all the direction, what is being spoken through his mouth. Because first he will listen, mouth and ear are together, very near. And he put in practice and then advise others to put in practice. So after 14 years tapasya, in 1950-51, now they moved to India. So they 400 people, they wanted space. So this sister particularly became, the Didi Manmohini was there. Her brother was there in Mumbai, who was a big donor in Mumbai. Jaslok Hospital that is established by these Sindhi families. And he was a main trustee there and a big donor. So her brother invited him, her, and all the people that you move to India. So they went to the Bombay. They see places in Bombay, then Baroda and Ahmedabad, but there were not a proper place to which can accommodate, you can say, 400 people. So somebody suggested that India has just got the independence within 2 to 3 years. So you can go to the Mount Abu where different koti structure are there, where you can say kings and queens of Rajasthan, of Gujarat and of MP and all the UP, they are going there and they go with their, you can say, soldiers, whole family. So 300, 400 people can stay there in their kotis very there. So they gone there and they rented one koti of Bharat Raja in India, in Mount Abu. And whole Yagya was moved in 1950 from Karachi to Bharat. In those times, the car of the Omandli, we say Yagya. Yagya means transformation. In Yagya, if you put anything, everything will be burnt. So here we don't have to put any physical things. We have to put our negativity in this Yagya, then in this knowledge Yagya, and we have to transform ourselves from negative to positive. So we call it Yagya too. So they moved and everything, they were allowed to take everything, whatever they have. In 1947, nothing. Now they were allowed to, because Radha has a very good impression. Everybody was knowing how homely is. So that you can say Yagya's car is also being, you can say, put in the boat. So they moved from Karachi to Okha Bandar, which is a part of, you can say, Gujarat, part of the Gujarat. And from Okha, they moved to the Rajkot, and from Rajkot they moved to the Abu Road, and from Abu Road to Mount Abu. Now, he directed, Supreme, that the name will be like this, Brahma Kumari Ishwarya Vishwavidyalaya. Nobody knows what is the plan, only he knows. So he has given a name, no centers, nothing was there. But he changed the name from Om only when they came in India in 50s, that Brahma Kumari's Ishwarya Vishwavidyalaya. Vishwavidyalaya means which Vidyalaya means Vidyalaya having the branch, or you can say branches all over the world. And they are teaching different kind of knowledge, Vidyalaya. Ishwarya means it is knowledge related to spiritualism, Ishwar, God, Allah, Khuda, Noor. Kumaris, majority were Kumaris and mothers, because three aspects of the good qualities of mothers and Kumaris, that is, they have a good faith in God. Second quality, they can take care of anybody because they have a training from the childhood. Any home, they are you can say, they can sustain the family. So they can take care of anybody, hold the family, so God's family. And third quality, they don't have ego, so they will not fight and break the institution in future. So Kumari is majority. Brahma, the name of the Dada was given by him as a Brahma. And you can say before that one word is Prajapita Brahma. Prajapita means Godfather Godfather incarnates in the body of, you can say, Dada, and he creates his, you can say, children through the mouth of Brahma, and he is the original father of all souls. So Prajapita, Pita means father, Praja means children. So whole name he given Prajapita Brahma Kumari Ishwari Vishwavidyalaya. At that time no center was there. Nobody was knowing what is the plan. It is his plan only, supreme plan. So now what happened? They established there, and now he directed that, okay, you got the invitation through your relatives. So now go to your relatives' house and show them the knowledge and your life, how you are living, what is the change in you. So about 100, you can say, sisters and some brothers were also there. They gone to their relative's house. Somebody's sister, somebody's brother, somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's fathers. Always in this. They are gone to their, you can say, relatives' house. They share their knowledge, what they have, and they shared, you can say, their life experience also with them. Somebody gone for 15 days, 20 days, and when they were returning, those people told, okay, you stay more and have a more knowledge to it. Is a good knowledge. In those days, not in detail, but all we are, you can say, giving the slides and everything. In a short form, they were giving the knowledge, and they liked too much. So no system was there now what to do. So they called Dada, and Dada that what to do. So you can say Supreme told through Dada that, okay, if they wanted to listen the knowledge, they should have a separate place to live, to eat, and to have a class. Then and then they can stay there. Otherwise, how they can stay with them? But the family, they can't live. So since these were stable within 2 to 3 years, everybody told, okay, no problem, it's not a big deal. And the first center started in Delhi in Rajouri Garden of Brahma Kumaris. So how these centers are running now, how they are being administrated. Suppose we have a center in Toronto. So we registered as a Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual Organization. Here university or Vidyalaya you cannot put because certain rules are there. So organization. It is being registered with CRA, Canada Revenue Agency. If you wanted to see anything about all what property they have, how much money they got, how much expenses they done, everything you can see on the website of CRA. If you put, you can then see our registered charities, and you put registered charities name Brahma Kumar, you will find out who are the trustees, what money they have, means what property they have, how much money they got before they are, you can say, putting on the website 2 years of, you can say, before 2 years all accounting. So suppose it's 2021, you can say 29 up to 19 or 80. Not only for Brahma, everybody, any charitable institution, if you have a name, you can see their accounting. So how it is run? So it is a rule in Brahma Kumari that they will take on a contribution, not donation. Contribution, why? Because we all are children of Godfather. And in our family also, suppose we are retiring, so our children are giving a contribution, not donation to the mother and father, because they family. So same principle applies here too. That we are all children of Supreme, so we are not donating to him because he has no body. So those who are running regularly in the knowledge, they will only contribute. Brahma Kumaris from the beginning, their principle that they will not collect anything from government as a grant. Second thing, they will not put any boxes outside to collect the money. You go any center, you will see the same thing. Same system is going on still today. So who will sustain the center? Those who believe in Brahma Kumaris principle and they put in their life, in practical life, something. No charges for the course. Why? Because Supreme says, if I charge something and somebody comes and you charge only $1 and he don't have $1, then he will say at the end, oh Supreme, I came to your door, but I don't have $1 even. So he say no charges for any kind of course, any kind of the classes, totally as a community service. So how it is run? Only by the regular students who are following the principles of Baba. Not 100%, but majority. Why? So as you think, so shall you become. And second thing, as you can say, earn as someone. What? Because we are getting food and everything from the money contributed. So if we are taking the money from anybody, the food will be like that, and thought will come like that only. So only this, you can say, contribution will be given by the students or children of Baba only, not from outside, not from government, no grant at all. So suppose it is not able to sustain, then he says, don't worry, you will get the class every day at your home. You did this 7 plus 2 days, 9 days course. So now you understand who you are and who is Supreme Being. You can stay at your home and read the class we will send to you. Now easily available on the internet. So no need of, you can say, starting any center. Suppose you don't have, so some students are there, they are not able to sustain, or suppose more are there and they are not able to sustain. Why we should go for more number of, you can say, centers? No need. Go on the internet, read the Murli and follow in your life. That's it. So all centers are autonomous body. They are not getting any grant from the government or from the public. They create their own money, contribute their own money, and they run the center. If you are not able to run the center, don't worry, close the center, even running. But don't go in name, fame, and credit. We should go more for our practical life. That is the main thing. So this is the how finance is being done. Now how admin is being done. Admin, majority of the people will decide what to do, what not to do. And out of that, people who can contribute their more time, they will be a center coordinator. Everything belongs to him. Nothing. We all are trustees. That's it. We all are instrument of him. So those who are majority, they will decide to start a center. They will start a center. They will register according to the law, land of the law. We cannot run land of India, rules of India here. So as per the land of the law, because Brahma Kumaris has 140 countries and where they have more than 8,500 centers. So majority of the people, they will collect, they will come together, they will decide what to do, what not to. That's the reason in Christian country the center will run by majority, because Christian people, because they are majority. If you go to the Muslim countries, that center of Brahma Kumari is being run by Muslim people, because they are the majority. If you go to India, there are majority Hindu people, it is being run by the Hindu people. And Godfather always says, keep the sisters and mothers ahead. In foreign countries and states like UP, Uttar Pradesh, you can say brothers, sisters are less, so brothers are, you can say, running the center. Otherwise, you go majority places, sisters are there. Suppose here in Toronto, our main center, Toronto, they have Sister Savio, who is from Guyana. She is running the center. So they will decide, 4 or 5 people make a committee, they will run the center. If they are not able to sustain, close down the center. No need to have a name, fame, and this much center we have, we are like this and that. Baba says, no need of telling anything. Put in practice first and then go ahead. So all center coordinators, they will combine together, and one country coordinator were there, Brother Eric, who is a country coordinator and who is living in Montreal, and he is also running the center there, but for behalf of whole country Canada, he is a country coordinator. And all countries in America and Caribbean, they have all together, and there is one region is there that is called America and Caribbean Continents region. So one head is there, Didi Manmohini is there, sorry, Mohini Didi is there, he is the heading the region. And this kind of region, they are all together of the Western world. And there is one, you can say, international office that is in London, which is headed by Didi Jayanti Didi. and international headquarters will report to the global headquarters, which is in Mount Abu. For India, any taluka place, or you can say bigger center, they have a, you can say, district place that is called sub-zone office, every district. And all districts come together, they have a zonal office at state level. If big zones are there, they have a 2 zonal office, 2 sub-zones office, and all will report to Mount Abu. So this is the admin. And somebody is going from one center to another, they must go through the email, or you can say chit out from the center in charge that brother so and so, he's our regular students coming at the knowledge, and please arrange for his stay and food. Then and then they will arrange, because this much of their, you can say, 44 million families are running in the knowledge, so it is not possible that each one know everybody. So everything runs by in this way, in administration way. So first center called opened in Delhi, and then now slowly and gradually Delhi, Lucknow, all northern part, Mumbai, different parts of the country started open the center. Now what happened? Further, we will go further. Sorry. So now in 1965, that Radhe, who was the mama, whose name people were knowing as a mama, and this was the dada, she left the body. So this was the, you can say, Mudedi Manmohani, she was given a management responsibility to handle, you can say, inside portion. Dada was there. Why inside? Because majority were sisters and mothers. So naturally somebody should be there who is a mother or sister. So she was given a, you can say, charge when Mama left the body, Om Radhe left the body, Jagdamba left the body in 1965. And this is the Dadi Prakash Mani, who was given additional charge with him to train her. And then she moved, the Dadi Prakash Mani was moved to Mumbai Center, and up to 69, Dada was handling everything outside, and this both sisters, but now she moved to the to the Mumbai. So Didi was there, who was handling the everything from inside of the whole institution. Now Dada left the body on 18th January 1969 at the age of 93 years. And at that time, Didi was not at the headquarters. She gone for meeting the Baba, and Baba given a charge, Dada given a charge to him. The Baba, Mr. Dada. And she was made the administrative head of the Brahma Kumari, because Dada left the body. Now people were observing that there will be something, you can say, will happen to the institution, because main Dada has left the body, who was running this institution from 35 to 69. But nobody was knowing that Dada is the only instrument. Outside world, they don't know how the institution is running. Everything is running through, you can say, transmedia. This majority will decide, and they will offer a bhog, or you can say prasad, and some sisters have a role to go in the trance, and they will go and present the whole plan, and he finally will decide supreme, even today, and program will go ahead. Majority will decide what to do, what not to, and the father finally permission will be from the trance, which nobody can see from outside. So in 69, Dadi become the, you can say, administrative head, and now it gets started. At that time, less than 100 centers of Brahma Kumaris when Dada left the body, not even 100. In 73, 74, now Dada left the body, so Baba, that is Supreme Soul, was coming in the body of Dadi Guljar, who was not a chief administrative head. She was a different, you can say, chariot, who is now administrative head from March 2020. In between, after this Dadi, another Dadi Janki was there. So now 1973-74, Baba told through Dadi Guljar, her body, that okay, we should have a, you can say, Western world entry. So first center was open in London with one room, Raj Yoga Meditation Center. And this Dadi Janki was posted there, who don't know much English. Baba told her, okay, you do one thing, create a carbon copy of Madhuban, whatever they have in Mount Abu. She gone there, slowly and gradually, she established the center, and now you can say center with 60 rooms in London. it is a retreat center too. Slowly from there, Brahma Kumari sisters and brothers, they moved different parts of, you can say they came Canada also 74. Then they moved from here to United States, different parts of states and all over the world. Now, you can say there is a good service in foreign countries too, in Western world. So there was a lot of, you can say, peoples are coming from foreign to India to meet Baba in Madhuban in Mount Abu. So in 1982, Baba told that, okay, you will be a member in United Nations organization. And Brahma Kumaris is a permanent member, 2 seats as a non-government organization, NGO, in United Nations organization since 1982. That's the reason why Brahma Kumari is a big platform all over the world with so many centers. Now so many students are coming from foreign countries and they have a limited space in Pandav Bhavan, that was headquarters, so they purchased many bungalows around them. But wall was very small, so they constructed first wall in 1984 outside of their campus, just opposite to their campus in Mount Abu, of 5,000 capacity. It was a big hall in those days in 84. There was a facility of translation in 18 languages in those days. Slowly and gradually, Dadiji, that is, you can say Prakash Mani Dadi, was in charge. She arranged different world conferences on peace of mind conferences, from all over the world. There were so many people came from different parts of the world, and slowly and gradually people come to know what is Brahma Kumaris through United Nations organization also, and by inviting them at the headquarters of Brahma Kumaris. Now there is not much space in headquarters, so they take another campus in Mount Abu only, called as a Gyan Sarovar. Another name is Academy for Better World. And meanwhile, United Nations organization told to Brahma Kumari, you do some physical service also. You are doing very good spiritual service, but do some physical service. So they opened one hospital called Global Hospital and Research Center, 50% owned by United Nations organization, 50% by Brahma Kumaris, total management by Brahma Kumaris, but 50-50. They adopted 70 villages around Mount Abu. All are tribal villages, and they are giving all free medical services to them. Simply they have to call from their village. You can say ambulance will go to their village, collect them, and leave them at their village without a single penny to them. They are handling a big program. Suppose somebody has a, you can say, blockage in heart, so they can remove the blockage without surgery with the help of, you can say, Raj Yoga, you can say diet change and exercises. They have so many programs all over India and all over the world for diabetic person also. No need of medicine. Only they give an introduction of Raj Yoga, some diet change and exercises, nothing else. Slowly they go further. Now Baba's children were increasing where to accommodate them. Too many children were coming. So in 1997-98, they purchased one big place of about 35 hectares land in Abu Road. Now Mount Abu, no space. So they purchased Abu Road, and now there is one place is there, Shanti One, where 50,000 people can live there. And you can say one kitchen is a totally solar kitchen, and they are preparing all foods with the help of solar power. All gadgets are running through solar power. They have their own solar farm with the help of government of Germany, government of India, and Brahma Kumaris. And they have excess, you can say, electricity also. They are selling to the government too at reasonable prices. Slowly and gradually, this, you can say, institution developed. And in 1997-98, from 1985-86, Baba always guided that you must have different wings to do the service of the society. So we have 20 wings. all this wing, admin wing, business wing, politician wing, IT wing, youth wing, religions, blah, 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 20 wings through which Brahma Kumari is doing service of different class of the societies through these wings. Their exhibition, their pictures are, you can say, somewhat different than what we are dealing with. Suppose doctors are there, medical wing, they will explain in terms of, you can say, medical science. So 20 wings they established in 1997, 98, one by one. And up to 2007, Dadi Prakash Mani was, he left the body, and then this Dadi was in London. She was made the chief administrative head of Brahma Kumaris. And from 2007 to 2020, she was the head. Now from March 2020, Dadi Guljar, in whose body Baba is coming, is the chief administrative head. And now Brahma Kumaris have, you can say, 8,500 center in 140 countries, doing all kind of, you can say, services as per Baba's directions. So this is the whole, you can say, history in 1 hour. I cannot do, you can say, we cannot deal with the all kind of knowledge of Baba because he's the ocean of knowledge. So any mistake, any of the things which I cannot explain to you, that is my mistake, not his mistake, because he is the supreme authority. He is the ocean of knowledge. So no question of anything lacking there. So anything is that is responsibility of Manoj Bhai, not him. And you will, I think, consider myself as your younger brother or elder brother, whatever you can consider, no problem. If anything you don't like it or you dislike it, as for example, or don't accept it, it's okay, no problem at all. You can measure, you can say, thing is to put in practice in the future. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we will read the Murli again, what we shown yesterday, and try to understand what he says in each class and how to put in our practical life. So main course, you can say 7 days course was there. We completed, 2 days are left. That is for the Murli.